What up though? Thanks for watching Fresh. I'm Rich LeBay, and today we're gonna make a Cajun shrimp and sausage, so stay tuned. I absolutely love Cajun food. I think there's a lot of confusion as to what's Creole, what's Cajun. A lot of restaurants are really butchering Creole and Cajun, just throwing a whole bunch of cayenne pepper and blackening seasoning on things. That ain't it. Today we're gonna get it in. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Let's go. Let's start off with a little bit of our seasoning blend. Let's get our herbs and spices proper. What we want first, let's go with a little bit of sea salt. 2 teaspoons sea salt. Up next, gotta do it with the black pepper. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, give or take. Next, one of my favorite things, you ain't really cooking unless you're using garlic powder, so just rip this guy off, just rip them off. 1/2 teaspoon garlic powder. Next, onion powder. This guy always wants to be clumpy, you know the story. Always wants to clump up. It's okay, I'm not scared. 1/2 teaspoon. Next, ground paprika. Paprika. Can be fancy, can be smoked. I'm just gonna go with straight ahead. 1 teaspoon paprika. Let's kick it up a notch, like Emerald Lagasse would say. Add a little cayenne, 1/8 teaspoon. I like heat. If you don't like heat, you don't have to use it. If you don't have cayenne, you can substitute red pepper flake. It's up to you. It's whatever you like. And cayenne is definitely like the go-to. It's like the hallmark of this whole style of cooking. So if you have cayenne, let's rock with that. If you don't, no worries. We're gonna get into some green things. I got dried parsley, 1/2 teaspoon, dried parsley. Bam, we're getting some beautiful colors here. Looking real multicultural in this bowl. Real multicultural in this bowl, you know what I mean? Up next, oregano. Oregano. Oregano, I know y'all mad. Oregano. We're just gonna rip this guy off. 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano. It's gonna bring a whole new vibe to the whole situation. Whole situation is gonna switch up with that oregano. Now, I would normally use something called filet powder. We don't have filet powder. That's like a dried sassafras sort of vibe. If you're familiar with root beer, it's kind of like one of the main flavors in root beer. I don't have that. I'm gonna substitute that out for tarragon. Also has like a licoricey sort of earthy sort of root beer sort of kind of star anise sort of vibe to it. We're gonna really highlight this guy, and we're gonna use 1/2 teaspoon of this. See how that looks? Bam. Now, love bay leaf. What I'm gonna do here, I'm about to take about 2 leaves worth. Have about 2 leaves worth. I'm just gonna get some ASMR going on. Just use my fingers to coarsely sort of break this up. I wanna get it as small as I can. If you don't have the patience, I understand. But what I'm gonna do right here is I'm actually gonna break this up so small, and that way it really mingles so that nobody gets stuck with a bay leaf, that it's throughout the entire dish. Let's throw that in there. Now I have one final ingredient, and that's my fresh thyme. Before I use the fresh thyme, I'm gonna actually whisk up my dry seasonings. Let's get a quick view of that. Just kind of whisk this up. What you wanna do is you wanna break up all that onion powder. Cool. You're cooking, use your hands, get in there, you know? What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful seasoning situation. Okay, dope. So next I'm gonna start my white rice so it can cook in the background while we move on to other things, okay? I suck at cooking white rice, so I'm gonna use a rice cooker. Nice little parboiled rice situation. Fat cup of rice. Let's do a fatty. Always do a fatty. When in doubt, do a fatty. You know what I mean? When in doubt, do a fat one. When in doubt, do the fattest one, okay? Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna hit this rice with a little bit of MSG. Little bit of MSG. Yeah, Jesus. I'm also gonna hit the rice. Dried basil. A little dried basil, just for color and just a little aromaticness. I'm also gonna hit it with a little olive oil, extra virgin, Spanish extra virgin olive oil. And last but not least, with a little bit of state of Delaware tap water for that final little emphasis, metallic, mineral, chlorination flavor. Cool. That can rock and roll in the background while we do some other more important work, okay? Rock with me, here we go. Let's start off with 5 cloves of garlic minced up, about a cup of diced bell pepper. I have about a cup of diced green zucchini, about a cup of diced white onion. I have about a half a cup of minced up chicken chorizo. Now this is a weird flex. I would typically use andouille, but we're gonna rock out with a little bit of extra flavor here with the chicken chorizo. We're gonna top things off as a garnish with green onion, and found a can of tomatoes, okra, and corn. And I was just like, you know, this is just screaming for me to do something Cajun style. I went ahead and opened that can, and that's what you see in this guy here. So we got tomatoes, okra, and corn rocking out with its socks out, you know what I mean, right here in this little pint container. Okay, let's get it. Let's start things off by turning our heat on. I'm gonna start on medium-high heat, let that pan kind of get up to temp. Cool, now that it's starting to warm up, I'm gonna use a little bit of neutral vegetable oil, about a tablespoon or so, just to kind of get this ball rolling. And let that get a little bit hotter, and then we'll do a water test. As you can see, I dropped in a little bit of water to test the heat of the oil. Seems like it's ready. So we're gonna start off with our chicken chorizo. And mainly what we want to do is render out as much flavor as we can out of this chorizo, render out as much fat as we can, because we're going to start adding things into this. Next, we're going to add in our onion. Starting to stick a little bit, so I'm just going to hit it with a little bit more vegetable oil. It's chicken chorizo, so it's not rendering a whole bunch of like animal fat out. You know what I mean? It's really lean meat. Really developing some flavor here. My little baby flips. Baby pan flips. Next, we're gonna add in our bell pepper. All colors intermingling peacefully, getting along. Ooh, get back in there. Get back in there. I need all of that. I paid for all of that. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? Now the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit it with that garlic, and I'm just gonna wait for the garlic to get fragrant. You wanna add ingredients based on their cook time. That's why we started with the meat, started adding other things from there. I'm actually gonna turn this temperature down to medium low. It's got enough residual heat in the pan to kind of cook that garlic. It smells amazing. All right, now that it's smelling pretty fragrant from that garlic, I'm gonna last but not least hit it with that zucchini. Zucchini is very delicate, doesn't need a lot of cook time. You don't want it to get soggy. That's what you don't want. You don't want soggy zooks. You do not want soggy zooks. It's tightening up on me, so I'm gonna hit it one more time with the mother-loving vegetable oil. Just a little bit, just a little bit. And while this is rocking out, let's go check our rice cooker. Let's not get a steam burn. That's not what we want to do. Stir it up. I didn't rinse my rice, you know what I mean? I like starchy rice. What you don't want a rice cooker to do is to actually cook the starch at the bottom and form a skin. I don't like rice with skin. I don't want no rice cake. Let's get y'all in here. Can you see this? It's looking real good. That's gonna look so fantastic as a base for all this flavor that we're cooking on the stovetop. Okay. I'm pretty sure that the zucchini is getting close. We're not gonna fully necessarily cook that because it's so delicate. The residual heat might take it the last distance. What we're gonna do now is transfer this over to our big old saucepan. Transfer this over to our saucepan. Ooh, I'm making a mess. Let's get all that out of there. Let's get that out of there. Now that we have our seasoned empty frying pan, let's turn this heat up just a little bit. I'm gonna let that tighten up. You see how that's tightening up? All that stuff kind of drying out. We call that fond. All that fond is beautiful because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour a splash of this white wine in there, and that's gonna break it all down. Look at this vintage 1984 dry white wine. It's gonna be beautiful. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hit it with a splash. Just a little something, maybe about 2 tablespoons. If you don't have a beautiful, nice vintage 1984 white wine like I just happen to have, use lemon juice. Use a cheap wine. Use whatever you have. Use a little tiny bit of vinegar mixed with water. A little tiny bit. You're just trying to add a little bit of acidity to all this. And you're just gonna take your wooden spoon and you're gonna break up all that flavor that got stuck on the side of the pan. I'm gonna break all of that up. See how I'm getting in there? Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit it with about 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna bring this heat back down. Let that wine and butter do its thing. I wish you could smell this. Let me turn this heat down because it still seems a little high. It still seems a little high to me. Now what we want to do, since we added 2 tablespoons of butter, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of flour. Okay. If your pan's too hot, just take it off for a little second. Just take it off. Just take it off. What we're going to do is we're just going to mix this together. You don't want it to cook. You don't want dumplings. Just want to mix it together. Don't let it cook too far. I mean, you want the butter to brown so you get a toastiness from it, but you don't want the flour to cook into a dumpling. All that beautiful fond diluted with vintage white, dry white wine with butter and flour. We're starting a roux. We call this a roux. Now, I'm gonna break this roux down by diluting it with a little bit of broth. Just a little tiny bit of beef broth, okay? We're gonna add, say about a cup. About a cup of broth. While we wait for that to come to a boil, we're gonna add in our seasoning from before. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. And just keep whisking while you wait for it to come to a boil. Just keep whisking. While we wait for that to bubble up, this is when we can go ahead and add our fresh thyme. Let's just go ahead and add a nice fat teaspoon. Nice fat teaspoon of fresh thyme. So beautiful. See, it's starting to bubble up. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of flavor, you know? Really get in there. Switch back to your wooden spoon. See how that sauce is thickening up? This is beautiful. Beautiful thick sauce. Y'all definitely know I like them thick. All right, I'm gonna transfer this back into the saucepan. Watch this. So let's just swap places with the saucepan. And then we're just gonna pour this right into our situation. I want y'all to see this. Oh, that's beautiful. Get everything out of there. I just got a little taste. Tarragon is amazing. Look at that beautiful color. Look at all those flavors mingling together. Before we add the shrimp, let's go ahead and add our tomatoes, okra, and corn. Tomatoes, okra, and corn going right into this. Look at all that flavor. Look at all that beautiful flavor. Let's check on our rice one last time. Oh, this is beautiful. Let me just unplug it. Nice starchy rice. Let the residual heat just kind of steam in there. You know what I mean? Now, I'm gonna use teeny tiny already cooked shrimp. They're already peeled, they're already deveined, the skin's off, they're extra small. I like extra small shrimp for this sort of application. You can use whatever size you want. These are frozen, so I'm just gonna pop them right in the saucepan so it can simmer with the rest of the stuff, okay? Let's rock out. This is about, I wanna say 8 ounces, about a ½ pound of frozen shrimp. Give it a quick stir. Just let this simmer down until it gets to the thickness that you like. Probably gonna put a lid on this, crack the lid so it doesn't burn or scorch at the bottom. I'm gonna let this simmer and tighten up. And let's just cover this up, you know? Let it do its thing. And just let it simmer and thicken up like that. Look how thick that boy is. Look how thick that is. It's beautiful. Look at all that. I'm gonna let this go a little bit further and then I'll plate it for you. Let it cool down a little bit so it thickens up and then we'll plate. All right, let's plate, y'all. A little bit more for me. And let's just finally, at the end, hit it with a quick little garnish. Fresh scallion, freshest of scallion. I like to call them scallions. I like to pretend that they play ska on their lions. We know they're scallions. We know what it is. And then last but not least, one more time with the dried parsley. Just one more time. Look how beautiful that is. What wonderful, wonderful color. It's beautiful. It's like land and sea because you got the chorizo with the shrimp and you got the garlic, the onion, the paprika, the cayenne. You have all those different kinds of green herbs going on in there. You have the white wine with the roux and the butter, so it's luxurious. And then you have the zucchini freshness, the tomato, the corn, gives it a summertime feel. So complex. Such a beautiful thing. I wish you guys could have some of this. Oh, and then you get that pop of scallion. Guys, please leave me a thumbs up, like the video. Make sure you comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, I'll try to stay active. Let me know how you feel. Give this recipe a try. Have fun in the kitchen. Use real foods. Have fun, enjoy yourself. Thanks for watching Fresh. I'm Rich LeBay. Peace. When in doubt, do the fattest one, okay? With a little bit of MSG. Little bit of MSG. Yeah, Jesus.